Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to week 3 of the 2024 college football season. This is the SEC Unfiltered SEC Football Game Day show as we break down the upcoming action here on this Saturday. And helping me do so, very excited, he joins finally after so long. We've been talking about this off air. The man, the myth, the legend, Orry Lee, a.k.a. Cornbread Cowboi, as you may know him on social media, joins me to begin talk all things SEC football and pick some games as well. Orry, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for doing this. Appreciate you taking the time. You, sir, are a legend. I've loved following your work for a couple years now, and I'm so happy that we get to do this. What's going on?
What's up, man? How you doing, man? I appreciate you having me on, man. I'll tell you what, I've been following you a while. I remember when I was living in Florida and I was away from Gamecock country. There wasn't a lot of accounts that were doing social media and doing stuff like you were doing. So I kind of used your your show and whatnot to keep up with my Gamecocks and keep up with football in general. And man, thanks for having me on, man.
Orry, it was only fitting, right? Obviously, again, let's jump into it. You are born and raised South Carolina fan, notable Gamecock fan, obviously college game day, all eyes are on Columbia. We're in Columbia at the time, people seeing this obviously here on the Saturday morning. Give me the story, though. Orry Lee, Cornbread Cowboi. How did we get to this point with Cornbread? Because, again, you're everywhere. Dude, you're everywhere. Yeah. You're on – I mean, what are you at now, like 700, 800, a million on TikTok? You're crushing Instagram. You're everywhere. I mean, you are a celebrity, my friend. You have built this thing up. How did the idea, where did it come from? How did Cornbread Cowboi get started? And what's the journey been like, man? Because, again, your content, for those that don't know, you have a lot of damn fun, which is why I love it so much.
Yeah. And, you just said it right there, man. Having fun doing it. It kind of happened by accident. I know these days social media kind of is a gateway for careers for a lot of people, and they set out on doing it. Mine was not that intentional. I was just kind of having fun. I've always kind of had a presence online between, like, friends and family and banner and, just making up silly stuff and whether it's memes, stories or whatnot. And of course, once like TikTok came out, I started doing my own thing on there. And then I was like, okay, once I hit like 500,000 on there, I was like, all right, I'm gonna try Instagram. And then I was like, oh boy, that's taking off too. And then now I'm on Facebook. So yeah, I'm everywhere now, just having fun. And the journey's been awesome. I keep doing it because good things keep happening, and I keep having fun and bringing joy to people. And that's what it's all about, man. Spreading positivity through laughter. And I guess a lot of people, kind of ask me what I do. I'm kind of like, it's like modern bathroom, reading. When you're sitting on a john, just scrolling through your phone, I might pop up but I enjoy. I tell you what, man. I'm a big fan of like vintage fashion, old country music, sports. It's just everything that I love. I just pour into my content. Of course, mostly led with my sense of humor. And man, yeah, it just kind of took me to where I am now. I just added in my first movie. I've got to, it's blessed me. It's opened doors for me I never thought was possible. So could be more thankful and blessed.
Congratulations on the movie. I forgot to mention that. I saw that a couple weeks ago, man. Can you give details on what the movie is or when it'll be released, or if it already is, maybe? Apologize.
No, for sure, man. So it's funny. I know some people saw me. They was like, why has he got an Arkansas hat on in those pictures? It's because I was filming a movie and it's best. So I was up in New Jersey, and of course I spent a couple of days in New York City, but we filmed up there in New Jersey, and it's based in Arkansas. And in the show, these guys, they're in the middle of nowhere, Arkansas, Razorback fans. I'm basically a regular at a gentleman's club, and you'll see me at the beginning. I mean, of course, I don't know how they're going to edit the movie and what all scenes they're going to cut out for me, but I basically auditioned for just a small cameo, and then they liked it so much. They was like, hey, man, we want to give you a whole character with a name and everything. And they gave me more parts to audition for, and I got it. And next thing you know, I'm showing up to a movie set with my name on a trailer. I'm like, holy moly. And so basically it's a small town Arkansas. It's this couple. They're struggling. She works at the gentleman's club, evidently. And they decide they're going to rob it, man. And, it's going to be good. It's going to be exciting. They remind me of, like, the Southern Coen brothers. They filmed a movie called Arkansas. It had it was John Malkovich, Vince Vaughn, one of the Hemsworths. I mean, that's why it's not some rinky dink. I mean, no offense to people who are filmmakers that do small projects, but this is like, I was like, holy moly, this is like Hollywood big deal actors, like Ron Perlman, Justin Long, and, David Arquette, all these names, it's nuts.
Cornbread, how often do you get asked where you get your clothes from? I've seen people comment that. I'm a big vintage guy too, so I'm kind of curious. I'm like, where he?
Yeah.
Who's his plug for the vintage
Yeah.
stuff?
I tell you what, man, I will say this. As I have grown my following stuff, I do have people will occasionally, message me, and I don't have time to message everybody back. Like, I just checked the message last week. This from like 3 months ago. I was like, hey, I got these shirts and hats. But mostly I buy it all myself. I've been collecting probably 10+ years. And I'm sure we all can relate to having our uncle's favorite shirt or our dad's old T-shirt when we were kids or teenagers, or, like, oh, this is cool. And I just kind of took it more serious, I guess. And I guess I'm more of a collector now than I mean, of course, I'm a huge fan. This is how I dress normally. That's why a lot of people, when they meet me, they're like, oh, like, you're not playing a character? I was like, I guess I am. I guess I am a character in a way. But, no, I've always been into vintage. You can get it anywhere, I started out doing, like, Poshmark a lot, eBay. There's some other apps out there, Depop, Etsy. I mean, there's a lot of vintage clothes out there, and I try to point people. I don't like to be a gatekeeper, so if somebody asks, I will tell them, where to find it and try to help them. And but yeah, man, I've been collecting for a long time, and it's kind of became part of my wardrobe for a character in a way, kind of,
I'll expect the DMs to be flooded after this. I apologize for that in advance.
Very good.
Cornbread, Orry, let's talk some football. South Carolina Gamecocks 2-0. Struggled with Old Dominion week 1. The Kentucky game last week, many folks were picking Kentucky. The way South Carolina won that game, I think you could argue it was the big shocker of week 2. What's your thoughts on this football team through 2 weeks? Because, again, you saw it felt like the lowest of the lows against ODU.
Yeah.
What felt like the highest of the highs against Kentucky. So what do you make of this South Carolina football team through 2 weeks?
I think Beamer hit the nail on the head because he said, he was like, after the first game, fans, and I was one of those fans. I was like, I wasn't, happy with the performance. I'm sure the team wasn't, but me, like a lot of fans, I was like, going on the road, freshman quarterback, Kentucky, they look pretty good, even though they played, Southern Miss, But if you look back on the first game, and I said this before the season started when I was on 107.5 the game, I was like, I really love our interior defensive line. I wasn't sure about Dylan Stewart and the other, edge guy, but I knew, our interior defensive line was going to be really good this year, and that's, and how they played against Kentucky, man, I was like, wow, just that defense. I was like, holy moly, like, holy, we got a damn team. Like, I haven't been this excited for Gamecock football probably since when we beat, Tennessee and Clemson, those back-to-back weeks, and leading into the Muschamp years, like getting a bowl victory over Michigan. I feel like we have one of those teams that can go 8-4 and go to a big bowl game now. After that Old Dominion game, I was like, let's just try to make a bowl game. Now I'm like, hell, let's see if we can get 8-9 wins, baby. Come on.
Cornbread, what I ask you too, year 4 of the Shane Beamer era. We knew this was a big one coming in. There was maybe some chatter in the offseason about maybe the seat warming up, or I had people even ask me about, is he on the hot seat? What's he got to do? Thoughts on Shane Beamer, the head coach? Again, you've been in the building and rubbed shoulders and had conversations with. So thoughts on Shane Beamer and leadership of the Gamecocks football program and the future under his leadership?
Well, I'm gonna keep it real here, man. I'm 37. I went to my first game when I was like 7 or 8 years old. I've been a diehard fan my whole life. We all know the Gamecocks. They reel you in, and you're like, and then they let you down. They reel you in, they let you down. And, no matter what, I think Beamer's the right guy for the job. I've said this many times before. I don't like – you saw what Florida did. They brought in, a couple, Dan Mullen and whatnot. And, they win 9-10 ball games. And the next thing you know, they go 500 one year and fire a coach. I was like, and I've only been to one practice, and that was after the Tennessee, that bowl game prep. And, the culture, I was like, man, Beamer's got a great culture there. He's enthusiastic. He's got the Beamer pedigree. I think he's the right man for the job. I was like, I don't care if he goes 6-6, 5 years in a row. I was like, he's going to figure it out. He might not 100% have all the guys he wants in the building. He might. I don't know. But I think over time he's going to get the right players. He's going to get the right staff. And I believe, in time, we're going to be competing for SEC championship. I mean, it could be 3 years. It could be 7. I don't know. I want to keep Beamer around because I think he's great for the culture. He's great for the university. And let's keep him around,
Orry, you're a big SEC football fan as well. So I want to ask you, outside of South Carolina, what have been some of your biggest takeaways from the rest of the SEC through 2 weeks?
Texas, man. Texas. I wasn't, because everybody's talking about Texas, Oklahoma, coming and joining the conference. And, Oklahoma, they haven't been impressive, but Texas has. And, I'm not as worried about going to Norman this year. I think that's gonna be a good game. At the beginning of the season, I was like, I'm counting that as a loss, but I think we can win that ball game. But Texas has been, really impressive. Of course, their backup quarterback's probably one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC, and he don't even start. I think they're deep. Sarkisian's got them ready to roll, and I'm just glad we don't play them this year. Or Georgia.
Those are certainly the creme de la creme. What Texas did in the big house against Michigan, I think that caught everybody's attention. Orry, when you look at the Week 3 slate, we'll turn our attention to that, and then I want to get some game picks from you as we go into this Saturday and an exciting day of college football, no doubt. Any games outside the SEC that intrigue you? Are there any that are not in the SEC footprint that maybe you're keeping an eye on, whether it's gambling purposes, it's just the college football fan in you? Any games outside of the footprint in the SEC that you're excited about?
For sure, man. The backyard brawl. I didn't look into it. Was the last time they played, was that when they had Rich Rod? They were supposed to go to the national championship and they lost.
I'm not sure if that's the
100%. Last time they played.
I'm not 100% on that. That's a great game, though. It's a great game, man.
A lot
of hatred.
And, I miss these rivalries played at the end of the year, the fall, the cold weather. But, I feel like this year we got better matchups every week. Of course, it's hard to find the game outside the SEC because it seems like every good team is in the SEC nowadays, except like, your Big Ten guys. But anyways, that Oregon State, that's another rivalry. You got them, you got Oregon State left alone in what the Pac-12 was, them in Washington State. So I'm rooting for Oregon State all day long against the Ducks. But
Oregon struggled too. That might be a big upset pick. Oregon has very mightily struggled.
I would take that upset pick, man, but after watching Oregon State last week,
it's tough.
I don't know. But, the backyard brawl, man, I'm definitely going to try to watch that game for sure.
All right, Orry, let's get into some picks. Week 3, pick 'em. These will be all SEC games. We're going to run down a couple. I want to get your selections. You ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
All right, Orry, let's get into it. We're going to start in the other Columbia, Missouri. This one of the very few. I think there's only 2 this week. The only one on Saturday, ranked on ranked matchup, Orry. The Missouri Tigers take on the Boston College Eagles. BC made headlines a couple weeks ago when they took down Florida State in Tallahassee. What is Florida State? We don't know. They look pretty pedestrian right now, but still, Boston College in the top 25. We know about Missouri with Brady Cook and Luther Burden. They're building off that 11-win season last year. This is an opponent of the Gamecocks later in the season, but for this one specifically, Mizzou Boston College, who do you like in this one?
I tell you what, man, I'm going to give the background on this first. I'm not going to lie. I'm jealous of Missouri. They come into the conference. We have the best years we've ever had, and somehow they have an easy schedule. They get to sneak into the SEC championship. We don't make it. It just seems like Missouri, how can they out recruit us? How do they keep, having great all these seasons? I'm jealous of hell. I do not like Missouri. It's because I'm jealous, so I'm not going to lie. So I'm rooting for Boston College. Also, they got Bill O'Brien, but I just found out their offensive coordinator is a local guy. I think he's from Lexington. It was one of the coaches' sons.
Kirby Moore.
Yeah.
Kirby
Man,
Moore.
And you know what? And I like Boston College. Their quarterback, he's dangerous. They got a good running game. They can do it all. They can play defense. Of course, I think Florida State, is not very good. I mean, we saw DJ at Clemson, what he did, man. I feel sorry for him, man. He's not I think it's confidence. I'm not sure what it is. It's it's kind of like when I'm throwing darts. I look good doing it, but I'm terrible at darts. I just don't have the confidence, if you look at me like, man, that guy knows how to bowl and shoot darts, but I'm terrible at darts, and I think it's the same thing with him. He just can't hit the bullseye. So I'm taking BC in that game all day long.
Boston College straight up.
I'm taking BC.
Taking BC. Okay, we're off to a hot start then. Let's go, Orry, to Gainesville. This is a big one. The Florida Gators hosting the Texas A&M Aggies. Florida might have a 2-quarterback system in place with Graham Mertz and DJ Lagway. I think DJ Lagway 110% is going to play. It's just how much. And then Texas A&M, they're looking, Mike Elko looking for his first SEC win. They want to get off the schneid. Obviously, both these teams lost big non-conference openers. Billy Napier desperately needs it. Mike Elko and Connor Wigman want it. Who gets it in the swamp later today?
I can't believe Texas A&M. Well, they were projected over 8.5 wins this season.
8.5 was their over-under.
I think they're going to lose. I think they hired a good coach, and Texas A&M, they got a lot of talent. I think they're going to lose a lot of close ball games, man. And I think playing in the Swamp is going to be another game they lose close. I'm going to go Gators. I'm going to say it's going to be like 27-20 type ball game. Probably both teams might start off slow, but that freshman quarterback for Florida, he don't look like a freshman. He can spin it, he can run it, he can do it all. And they got too much talent on the Gators team to let Texas A&M come in there and whoop them. So I'm going Florida Gators on that one.
The DJ Lagway show at the Swamp. Let's go to, you were mentioning this, Orry, Norman, Oklahoma. This game's kind of flying under the radar, I feel like, but I'm very, very curious to see how this one plays out. I've taken Tulane plus 14 in this game. Oklahoma hosts the Tulane Green Wave. Tulane coming off of a really close loss to Kansas State, but a really hard-fought game. I think they showed what they're capable of. A lot of folks have looked at them as maybe the best team, or at least one of the best teams in the G5. And then there's Oklahoma, who, like you mentioned, year one in the SEC, haven't played a SEC game yet, but they struggled to a 16-12 win over Houston last week, a Houston team that got boat raced by UNLV in week one. Oklahoma, Tulane in Norman. How do you see this one playing out, Orry?
I think Oklahoma's better than what we give them credit, and a lot like my Gamecocks. They have a really good defense. I mean, look at their coaches. That wasn't a fancy win, but I think their defense is going to carry them to a lot of wins this year. Tulane, I remember I took that bet last week, and I was so worried because they were winning by 2 touchdowns, and they got close, and then finally Kansas State took it over at the end, and that touchdown at the end that they called off, where he stuck on the 1 yard line, that won me a lot of money, thank God. But Tulane's good, man. They're a confident bunch. They don't have the talent to match up with Oklahoma though, so I got to go Oklahoma with this. But I hope Tulane can keep it close because they're a good ball team, and I like to see them pull the upset. But if I'm putting money on it, man, you got to go Oklahoma. What's the spread on that game? Do you know?
14 points.
14
points. It might be down to 13.5, but I got Tulane at plus 14. I agree with you. I think Oklahoma wins, but
okay.
Till I see more from Oklahoma's offense.
Yeah,
I'm taking Tulane to
let's take Tulane in the points for sure on that one. Let's go. I might juice it up. I might juice it a point.
But Boomer Sooner getting the W. Yeah. Let's go to Lexington, Orry, the site of where South Carolina straight up took Kentucky to the woodshed just 7 days ago. And what is their reward now? A week later, they get the Georgia Bulldogs in Lexington. Georgia, obviously, in their season opener, to the joy of many folks, I'm sure, including yourself, Orry, put a whooping on Clemson in week one in Atlanta. They beat Tennessee Tech last week. No big deal. They roll in full of confidence, though obviously national title aspirations, and Kentucky is just looking to pick themselves up off the mat. Some interesting storylines in this one, Orry, with former Georgia quarterback Brock Vandagriff. Jamon Dumas Johnson was formerly at Georgia as well. They take on the road team. Spread in this one is 24 points, though. I feel like I know which direction you're going with this one. Give me your pick, though. How do you see this one playing out, Kentucky and Georgia at Kroger Field?
So I think Stoops is a great coach. He usually gets Kentucky to 7 wins a year. It's a good and you see it happen all the time. You'll see a team play really bad, but the next week, and then you take the spread for them not to cover because they look so terrible. Then they cover or win or upset or whatever. I don't think Kentucky plays another bad game like they did against the Gamecocks. I think if Georgia starts slow, there's a chance for them not to cover, but man, you never know. Second half, Georgia probably come out and score 4 touchdowns, and you could be easily looking at a 28-7 ball game at half, and then next thing you know, it's 58 to 7. Anyways, I'm definitely gonna take Georgia to cover on this game, but I don't think they. I think there's a chance Kentucky plays a better game than they did against South Carolina, but. No matter how good you play against Georgia, man, Georgia, they just got monsters everywhere. So I think Georgia might boat race them, but I have a lot of faith in Stoops. I think they can keep it close, maybe up to halftime, but I don't know about that second half, man. I think Georgia runs away with it at the end.
Georgia certainly, Orry, is not the team that you want to see when you are looking to bounce back and try to build some confidence. They are not the ones you want rolling into your house. All right, Orry. Let's get to the game of the weekend. College Game Day is on site in Columbia, South Carolina. Williams-Brice Stadium, just a couple hours from now, will be electric. Rain or not, we'll see what the weather does. It is going to be an absolute madhouse when the Gamecocks take on the LSU Tigers, LSU, they are backs against the wall, Orry. Lost that season opener to Southern Cal. LSU folks are calling this the most important game of Brian Kelly's tenure in Baton Rouge to this point. Many South Carolina folks have told me about the importance of this game for this South Carolina program, the launching pad that this can serve as if the Gamecocks can get the W, move to 3-0. South Carolina, LSU, noon kickoff in Williams-Brice Stadium. Dawn Staley, by the way, the guest picker on College Game Day. That's been announced. Everybody's fired up and excited for that. Gamecock Nation is buzzing. Who gets the W between the Gamecocks and Tigers?
Man, it's like, what Tiger would you want to win more against, Clemson or LSU this season? I'd almost take the Clemson L just to win this game, man, because like you said, it's very pivotal, with the momentum, after last week's win, to start out 3-0 with their hard schedule, man. God, we need to win this game. I tell you what, man, I think it's going to be another low-scoring affair. I don't know how they're going to neutralize our pass rush. Maybe they might try to throw a lot of screens. I'm not sure. It's LSU. They're going to come with some dogs, and, they got a good coaching staff, and it's going to be a tough game to win. But, we got the home crowd behind us, and, I think it's going to be close, man. But I think if the Gamecocks keep it close with that home field advantage, I think we can win this ball game for sure. I'm looking for the Gamecocks to win, man. If I had to put money on it, what's the spread on that game?
It is at either 6.5 or 7 LSU favored, just depending on the sports book you get it. It's right at a touchdown. Right at a touchdown.
Taking the Cox, baby, all day long. Cox by 90. Let's go.
South Carolina moves to 3-0 and beats the LSU Tigers. And
baby.
Orry really becomes, you win this game, it was a nice storyline this previous week coming in this game. You become the national storyline. You become the national talking point. South Carolina gets back on the map. You win this one and beat LSU and go to 3-0. So there you have it. Orry Lee, Cornbread Cowboi, week 3 of the 2024 college football season. An electric slate. Don't anybody tell you this is a lighter schedule, a light slate. We were praying for college football about a month ago, and we've got it, and we've got some incredible matchups and an incredible guest that helped me break it all down. Orry, this was incredible, man. Thank you so much. Hey, let folks know, by the way, in case they somehow, some way have been living under a rock, they don't know where to find you on social media because, again, man, you got everything from sports to lifestyle to these women you chasing around. I can't even name them on those different accounts. Linda, yes. Let folks know where they can check you out on social media and follow and support your work.
Well, first of all, I just want to say I think the Badgers is going to upset Alabama. But anyways.
Whoa! That's what I forgot to put on the slate. Badgers take down Bama. You know what's funny? So I picked 5 games. That one didn't make the top 5 because I'm like, good. Well, Alabama, they're probably Wisconsin. Okay, there's your pick. Jump around.
But yeah, man. So if you're not following me, you can check me out. Cornbread Cowboi with an I. That's on Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, which I'm kind of new to. And I'm new to Twitter and X, and it gives me a chance to take a break from doing like my comedy type stuff and kind of talk sports, which I'm a huge sports guy. And it gives me a chance to do that. You can follow me on there. Facebook is, I had to use my real name, of course. It's Orry Lee Kennedy. And but yeah, come follow me out, check me out. Cornbreadcountryclub.com if you want to get some merch for you and the gang. But anyways, go Cox, baby. Let's go.
Orry Lee, Cornbread Cowboi, a legendary guest. Thank you, sir, again for doing this. Appreciate you all tuning in. Enjoy the college football. Take in week 3, and we will talk to you all on the other side.